Welcome back, everybody. My name is Trigagan, and this is GregTech New Horizons. All right, left off with the last video with wanting to get some things prepared. I've melted down quite a bit of the aluminum. You can see here I have a list, that list of machines, and all of the parts and stuff that those machines require have kind of gone away, and that's because I was slowly just making a bunch of them down here. Now, what I want to accomplish in this episode, and it looks like I might have a hair under my mouse, there we go, is to, I was thinking I would make the advanced cutting machine, and we would go ahead and use our gallium arsenide crystal and some of our silicon solar grade in order to make the boule. And then with the boule we can begin taking a look at some of the other stuff. I've changed around a little bit more of my machine wall. It's still as polluted as it has been. I haven't really moved the EBF or anything, so I'm still dealing with pollution effects. I don't have a forge hammer over in that machine wall, so I've got to make this thing here this way, break it apart with this guy in order to get those 4 small gallium arsenide crystals. So with that done, what I can do is bring that stuff back over here. I went ahead and chopped down the tree that I had set up here. So the tree is gone. I extended that because I put down some more cabling in order to facilitate where our new machines are going to go. And then this guy, there's my redstone clock. I should probably put something above that so that it can't mobs can't spawn on it. But this redstone clock, I've now emptied out my smeltery and turned all the aluminum that I've got, most of the aluminum dust that I have, into raw aluminum, and then poured out a bunch of ender pearls. So we have that going on. If we take a look here at the blast furnace for this guy, I need a program circuit of 2 for it. Otherwise it thinks I want to make a the solar silicon ingot instead. So I am going to need a screwdriver to deal with that. I did not realize that was what I needed to do. So back over here we go. I've been mining up various things and getting stuff prepared as I need it. I've got, what is that, 6 stacks of iron now, 4 stacks of copper, 5 stacks of tin, a whole stack of gold. So I've slowly been processing down stuff as I can out of these bins here, just trying to get rid of most of the iron, the gold, the copper, and those other small ores that we end up with. I need a screwdriver, and then we got to set this guy to a 2. There we go. And then we can go ahead and power this thing up and get this silicon boule on its way. One of those, and like that, and off to the races. Excellent. So that is going to take 450 seconds of non-stop pollution to try and get that guy made. The other thing I've been working on is I've been slowly making some distilled water. If I want to make my first advanced coke oven, I'm going to need 70 of it, and then on top of that the quest line also needs even more of it under the MV tier here after the advanced mixer, in order to make the coolant that we need with the chemical bath in order to make Kanthal, and then of course that first Kanthal is what we will upgrade our EBF with. I think I'm going to take these coils here, and I am going to use those coils, and under the multi-block goals we have a multi-smelter. I don't think I've ever actually made a multi-smelter before. I think I keep thinking about making one, but I never actually sat down and made one. This thing is great for smelting up ores. It would mean that I can just slap stuff in it instead of having to put it into this hopper and have it go through this basic electric furnace and smelt into the various things there. But the other thing, I can't do it right now because I got that running. I need to I need to take these cables right here and put them in here and make 2 more circuits so that I can finish out my good electronic circuit. And I've already got the MV machine hull right there. So once I have the circuit, I'll have everything I need in order to make this advanced cutting machine, and that'll allow us to progress the next quest. So I'm going to go ahead and cut here. I'll bring you guys back in once we have this boule made. See you in a bit. All right, it looks like our silicon boule has finished, and indeed there it is. That should be another quest complete. Hey, there we go. After that, it says we want the silicon wafer. So that means I can now take my time. It's not drawing all that power. I can go ahead and get these 2 circuits made real quick, finish up making the advanced cutting machine, and then we can slap some lubricant into it and get to work making some of these wafers. So that'll be good. Once the wafers are done, then it's going to want us to make the precision laser engraver. The whole reason I decided to do this is because otherwise I had to find another gallium in order to make some more of those diodes. I am completely out of the diodes. So in order to make more diodes, I need either gallium or I need the wafers. Now the wafers are an increase on how much I'm getting, because as you see, the 1 gallium arsenide crystal, which takes 1 gallium and 1 arsenide, creates 4 small chunks that then go in with the silicon to make the boule, and then the boule turns into 16 wafers, and then the wafers can be used, each wafer can be used to create 4 diodes. So it's really a gigantic leap in savings when you're talking about gallium. I've got plenty of arsenide, because as long as I stick a miner down somewhere in the nether, I'm sure to pick up a couple of things. And so if we come and look, I think it's in here. No, I've got it in another chest. I've got like 4 or 5 pieces of arsenic now that works with the gallium. So the gallium is the holdup. So yeah, with that there, let's go ahead and create our advanced cutting machine, and then slap a little bit of lubricant in it and create these wafers. So here we go. There is our advanced cutting machine, and again, the next thing after that, it's wanting this advanced precision laser engraver, and that thing needs 5 circuits to get up and running. So I'm going to be making circuits here in a bit, but at least for right now, that's one piece of it. I need a little bit of lubricant. Now, I need 4 of these guys, and I should go ahead and actually move them over here just so that they're off in the box that needs them for these NV energy hatches. It needs 4 to make 2 of them, so I've got those there set aside now, and then I can use the rest of this lubricant as I see fit. So let's go ahead and do this. Wait for it to become available. There we go. We'll click on that in there, and then we can just drop that in, and off it goes. It uses 9 whole lubricant in order to make these wafers, so it's pretty efficient with lubricant. And there we go. There is our 16 wafers, and we got 4 solar grade silicon back that we can then take and reuse to make some more. Get some more of the silicon ready to make another boule. So there we go. Awesome. Next, it wants us to, of course, make this. And so what I'll be doing is I'll be taking these wafers, and I will be using them in the assembler. Yeah, so like right here, 4 fine annealed copper, a wafer, and some molten polyethylene will make me a set of diodes. I do not believe I have the ability to make the next set of diodes, the SMD diodes. SMD, capacitor, resistor. Maybe there isn't an SMD diode. Let's take a look. Let's just type in diode. Yeah, there's an SMD diode. And those guys require platinum wire with some gallium arsenide dust in order to make those at a stack at a time. Not sure how efficient that is. It seems like that might be pretty inefficient, but by the time we get to making platinum, gallium arsenide is probably pretty easy to come by. So making that a simpler recipe. So yeah, we won't be making those. Instead, we'll be making diodes. I cannot make tantalum wire because the tantalum requires the hot ingots, and the hot ingots require an MV chemical bath, which I haven't made yet, and then it makes all this hot coolant that you then have to recycle and cool off and stuff when I don't really need it until after I can get to this vacuum freezer. So it's nice to see it, but it's also very painful. So not going to worry too much about it, and I'll just use these guys in order to make the circuits. So the next thing I'm going to work on is working on these circuits. Once I get the laser engraver, I can work on the low IC power. That'll get me the MV energy hatches. And during that whole process, I'm going to start working. I want the advanced coke oven just so that I can at least have there's 2 quests that require it done while I'm waiting for you guys to help me decide whether I should go the benzene route or not. I can always use benzene. I need to set it up anyway because it gets you toluene, which I'm going to need for the industrial compressor in order to get further along in like the space race stuff. So it's something I have to have. It's just a matter of whether I use it for power or not. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut away here. I'm going to work on getting these circuits made. We'll see about getting the stuff that we need in order to get ourselves towards these MV energy hatches, and then we'll figure out power. I don't know if that'll all be this episode or not, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I've prepped all the stuff necessary for making the last of the machines that I need for what we're currently doing in the MV age. I've been moving my miner around and picking up some other stuff. I also, off camera, went into the forestry and multi-farms thing, and I made a carpenter and a thermionic fabricator, working on the appetite now with the miner to deal with that. And then I also am starting the the basic automation tab, just so I can work my way down to some kind of ME system. Not really ME. I'm going to be probably using these Project Red pipes in order to set up a request, and that way I can pull stuff out, and then I can build for now a big chunk of just boxes that I can throw stuff into and then access them through a drawer controller. So that's the idea. Here I have the start off with the emitter for our advanced precision laser engraver. There's a quest for that, so I wanted to make sure that I got the quest part for it done rather than just picking it up and messing that part up. Now I need to recall where I put, right here, my MV machine hulls, and there you can see the start of that other stuff. Some silver rings to make some aluminum cells for carrying fluids, the transport pipes, and then there's my leftover electronic circuits. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this advanced chemical reactor to start with up and running. So there we go, one advanced chemical reactor. Next we have an advanced mixer. So there we go. Then we have the precision laser engraver. Awesome. And then, oh man, now I've messed it up. So now I've got to figure out which one I didn't get to make. And I think, yeah, it's the advanced chemical bath, this guy right here. So let's go ahead and hit that. Turn that one off, and then I've got to figure out what I was, it's that infernal brick, whatever. So I'll add that back in a little bit later. But there is our advanced chemical bath. So that should give us everything we need up to the point of making these ultra low power ICs, doing things like the ILC and RAM, working towards this integrated circuit, which completes some other stuff over here and gets us towards our first HV circuits. But that takes second place to us moving over here and working towards getting our our HV line up and running. We can start by making some stainless steel dust, and then we have to work on this energy hatch before we'll see the rest of these new tasks over here for an upgraded EBF. Coolant is the next thing I am working on. It says 64 water cells, and that you know, you can't, I don't think these coolant cells, if I look at a fluid canning, yeah, they take 1,000 each. And if we go through it this way, where we're just using water and lapis, we aren't going to get anywhere close to that 64 coolant cell. If we click on it and we use just regular water with lapis, we're only going to get, you know, an eighth of a can for every single one of those. So we got to do 8 times the work. Or if we just use some distilled water in either a distillery, or take the time to electrolyze water and then recombine it in a chemical reactor, we can get distilled water. However, I can't do any of that right now because I am in the middle of smelting up that last stack of raw aluminum that I had in here, and it is going strong. I'm at 39 of that stack of 64, so yeah, it'll take me a little bit for that to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, we have all these machines here right now. We've got an advanced chemical reactor, we have an advanced mixer, we have our precision laser engraver, which admittedly might need to be all the way over there instead, even though this is 4 amps of MV at this point, so it should get plenty of power being all the way down here. And then lastly, that advanced chemical bath that we need in order to turn in the Kanthal. So there we go. All of our MV machines lined up nice and neatly here. At least a little more neatly than this disaster that's over here with all of these guys. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a break, let that aluminum smelt up. That's going to be another half hour worth of smelting over there, which is pretty boring. But hey, when you only have one EBF, it's what you need to do. And then I'm also going to take the time to update this guy. And we're going to start seeing about getting into some of the other bricks. One of the guys that I follow through the Greg Tech page loves to use the bit for some of the builds and stuff. It's a nice solid black unless you want the colored edges. I forget what the other one is that gets primarily used, but yeah, start working on some of this stuff, make some Z-tone tiles, get some wool, and crank out some tiles that aren't cobble, and start making a base of some kind. Start trying to move machines and stuff around so that we're not like constantly getting poisoned every time because of our power generation and our EBF. And so yeah, just working away. I'll see you back here after a while. Okay, I think I've done just about everything I can for today. What I've gone ahead and done is I've cooked up the stuff in order to make 2 of these medium voltage battery buffers. I then have the 2 requested MV energy hatches, which of course are going to make fireworks to make lots of noise. I also created a super tank. I am going to take the super tank along with my pump and a combustion generator, and I'm probably going to take it over here to this spot right here where I've got there was one of these oil spouts, and I dug this trench and went down quite a ways to you know, pull up as much of the oil as I could. At this point, I may as well just stick a pump down, cover it up, and then let it finish it out, and I figured a super tank would be perfect. The quest for the super tank says that you can pick them up with a wrench without voiding the fluids, so I figure, why not? Let's go ahead and grab a super tank full of oil, and that way I can, you know, do some of the stuff like I have on my list here of creating a basic ethylene setup. But there are our energy hatches, our battery buffers, and then I have the stuff to make, I actually have, well, I've got various pieces of what I need in order to make 2 of these guys. Well, you know, I've got 3 of the lenses, and then only 1 of the gold casings and stuff, but at least for now I've got 1 thermometer. So there we go, see the unseen. With the thermometer now we can get further into a bit of magic there. And then the last thing is that I went ahead and pre-prepped moving both of these things back. I moved them an entire chunk back and then moved the wall around so that the wall matched what it was doing. And then I've also got this area started. So essentially I'm going to have this be my crafting area. And I've got a lot of the bit tiles. I also went ahead and took my golden lassos and I grabbed a pair of sheep and I put them on the other side of the wall here where I don't hear them too often, but then I can come over here and I can trim them and take the wool that they give in order to, I can take it over, and I've got my first set of Z-tone tiles there, and I just put it in there and let it build up some of the Z-tone tiles. But anyway, that's not what we're actually here for. What we're actually here for is this. I can go ahead and take these guys, slap them down there. That should then register this guy as built. Oops, I need one more cable. There we go. And then we have our 2 battery buffers. And then I've got my wire cutters to go ahead and hook them up. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I am going to steal. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to steal 2 of these batteries, and then I have, where did I put them? 2 other batteries here. It will take some time to do anything over here. These are redstone alloy cables, so that we get, you know, unlost energy all the way over here. But you know, if we're going to craft anything using HV, it's going to be a little pricey getting it all filled up and whatnot. So we've got those 2 things. They should eventually, there we go, start charging. They had to charge, I think they had to charge the energy hatches first, then charge the battery buffers, and then they were able to start charging over here. But that does give us our nice HV at this point. I have 1 HV. 1 amp of HV with these 2 sets of things. The only problem we're going to run into is that, let's say we take a look at Kanthal, and if we want to make the hot Kanthal ingots, it takes 432,000 EU over 45 seconds to do this. And with 4 batteries over here, and we only have basically 1 amp of MV, it's going to take us, you know, 45 seconds to cook it using up 1 battery, and then it's going to take us 4 times that long to recharge them. But at least it will be recharging, so I can slowly start working on the Kanthal necessary in order to turn this guy into a into the Kanthal coils. In the meantime, we are going to, you know, again, I'm still, you know, soliciting what we should do for our next set of power. I can augment this by putting down maybe some MV combustion generators or something. There's stuff that we can do to offset the power here until we determine what type of fuel we're going to go with more permanently. So yeah, let me know again in the comments below what type of system we should set up, because steam just isn't going to cut it at this point. So the only other thing is this guy right here. I am thinking maybe I'll rip that out and I'll put it back over here as well. Maybe I'll push the wall a little bit further back and we can put our smeltery here. And that way it's a little out of the way. It doesn't, I don't think it generates pollution, so putting it back here isn't so much anything more than this is kind of where our ore processing is going at this point, as opposed to closer to here where we have our you know, material processing and then our crafting area. And then as I get more of this stuff, the house we'll probably raise up. I'm going to turn part of it into a kitchen, and we can have that, and then maybe some stairs down into our garden area. And the garden area is going to start transforming, whether I do more of the crop managers, or if I go with the multi-farms. One way or the other, we are going to start an actual like farm, maybe 2 of them, depending on, since when I was playing in previous playthroughs, we could stack them up, and they removed that capability. So now I can only build it, 1 per thing. So we might start scoping out some areas around here in order to make a couple of multi-farms or something along those lines. But anyway, this is kind of my storage area right now. You can see I've got the drawer controller. I went ahead and completed all of the quests here in basic automation, with the exception of the crafting chip and getting into the oil automation. But all the rest of those are completed. I'll pick the rewards at some point. We'll probably end up having to have another loot bag go, just because of the number that I'll build up. And then yeah, nothing else really going on. I did get a couple more spots done with the bees. I was able to get to the apiary. I was kind of just trying to get here so that I get the quest for the chests, so that we can start putting bees into chests. I can put 1 chest for just random princesses that I'm out collecting. I can put 1 for a copy of every pristine princess in there, so that we have 1 of each type of bee, so that if we ever need another type of bee, we've got it. And then lastly, a 1 chest for whatever we're breeding at the time, trying to get those things settled out. So yeah, various different things going on, a lot of it very time consuming. So again, hopefully by the time you guys see this video, I won't have chosen a power myself. I can listen to you guys' comments, and in that time working on Kanthal, working on some stainless steel, reorganizing this disaster. Speaking of crud, if it rains, that thing's gonna go boom. I should do something about that. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna take some time and get that taken care of so that it doesn't rain and explode my my setup over here. So I'll see you guys in the next video, where we'll start taking a look at some getting more and more upgrades. Till then.